Hi, here we go. Another comfy video. This one, we're making a panorama, a very wide image, and it came out of me wanting to do wide out painting, and this particular workflow was actually developed for that. And after a bit, I realised it was actually more useful all by itself. And what it does is make panoramas. So what I'll do is actually demonstrate it, because trying to describe it from in one lump is too much. So what we'll do, we'll make a panorama, and I haven't. I'll load an image in that I haven't used before, so it could all go wrong. As I always say in my videos. It could all go wrong. And we're going to use, what should we use? We use that one. Okay. So this image here is going to sort of set the general form and color and so on. We have a prompt, and the prompt has a very specific format. So what it does, it describes a modern art gallery, white walls, wood floor, etc. And there's a big oil painting of a panorama hanging on the wall. And then we have our description. Now, this is going to be what your panorama is here. So you can see it's going to be a futuristic alien city, etc., etc. And I have Laura's to back that up. And that brings me to the other input image. Now, this input image I will put in the to be downloaded. And you have to use this image as the basis. You can make your own, but it must be in this format. So here's our gallery, very simple. Here's our picture on the wall. So what we need to do first of all is to get this picture stretched and on that wall. And to do this, we turn off by, as you can see, right click, turn to always, turn off this panel one as it blocks the progress. So you can just do the start image, and this is the important stage. So what we'll do, we'll cue that just as a zoom in, so you see it. There we go. There is our panorama. Now at this stage, because this is blocking any further progress, we can iterate here until we get one we like the look of. That's looking quite nice, but we'll have another one. I always hope to get lucky. I don't always get lucky, but I always hope to. It will usually keep the format. If it doesn't keep the format, you need to iterate. There we go. The other one, I think it changed the format slightly. This one looks more likely. I don't like the shape of that. It's got something in the middle. So we'll do it again. Sometimes it will change the shape of this, the whole picture. We're at denoise 6.5, and it will occasionally change it. So you have to watch out for that, because if it changes it too much, it'll all go horribly wrong. Oh, that's much more interesting. Look at that. Okay. Do I like that? No, the horizon's too high on the left. We'll do it again. So this is the stage that makes or breaks your panorama, really. And I've done it this way because I've discovered that this is an SDXL resolution. It makes much better pictures. You can just generate the panorama, but it really doesn't look very nice usually. That one looks good. So that's going to be the basis of our panorama. So here we go. None of this, just I put a note down here, don't mess with it, because the numbers are all quite important. So what we do now, we turn this group, which is another don't mess group, by the way, and then we have the first section of generations here, and what we do is turn off the crops here. See, this is turned off, right click, turn to never, and that'll block the flow there, so we can do these and see what they look like. So we'll run those. Now one thing you can do with this first section when it makes the image is to send it back round again, and this often makes the panorama get one stage better. I'm not going to do it this time, but if you send this image back to the front and make this your load image, this, when it pops out, you'll see at the other end, then it will probably improve the outcome at the end. So if you're having a problematic one, that's one course you can take that might fix things. There we are. We'll zoom in for that. Right, now, this stage is quite important. So we can see that everything makes sense up to here, and then this one section here doesn't. So at this stage, you can iterate this first section until it joins up with the rest. The rest all, Yeah, makes some sort of sense. We're going to regenerate over the joins. So that sort of seam there is going to be fine because it's going to be run over again. But as you see, this doesn't make any sense. So that's what you have to look out for. But the process is pretty simple. All you do is go to that section. There it is. And you just iterate through a few seeds until you get something that joins on. Which might take a few seeds, but usually you can get something. Yes, so we've run into a problem straight away, actually. And I think the problem is occurring earlier on. So if we look at these, this horizon is too low on this one. So we're going to have to rebuild this image here. So you will find that if one of these sections, the horizons don't match, then you've got a problem. So it's but you can see it pretty clearly there. And all you do is go back, turn that to never, and then regenerate on this. And you can actually probably see it on the, this here isn't right in itself. So a quick look at that. Yeah. So we'll regenerate this again. And getting the thing started is the fiddly bit, really. The rest of it usually runs fairly smoothly. But it's as well this showed up because you will hit this definitely. Okay, so that looks okay. We'll run that and see what that does. It doesn't usually take many goes to, and these first generations don't take very long either. What we're aiming for essentially is for a fairly good image here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be without any major disruptions to the logic. There we go. Yeah, we got one bit I don't like that much. So we'll run that one again, which is it that one? It's this one here. You might have to go back and forth a few times. If you have an input image that has a very obvious horizon, you don't get this at all then. That looks fine. Okay, so that's okay. Pretty unlikely, but if you see the horizon line here is pretty consistent now. This is a bit wobbly, but I think that'll come out in the wash. So, okay, so the next stage, we can turn this stage on. Now, I forgot to mention, to do these, you have another prompt here. So this is the prompt, the same prompt, but without the art gallery stuff. So just stripped out the art gallery stuff, and you can add detail here to what you want to see. I haven't added any, but you can add some more detail there if you want to. Okay, off we go. So again, this was blocking the progress there, and then we can run this. And these are the refines, so it upscales and refines, and so this will take longer. I will edit it quick. So we've got a nasty here, you see. Other than that, it looks okay. So we have a look at where the nasty occurs, and here's where it is. Something strange going there. Bad seed, I think. Just check if it isn't on the... No, it's not on there. Just a bad seed. But you can rerun that. See, I can check. These are the crop sections. So it's happening here. It's not on that. So if I rerun that one, it's the first time it's done that, actually. But we'll see. That should correct on a rerun. For a minute, I thought my numbers had gone wrong. There we go. Hopefully, that'll look better. There you go. One panorama. And you see it's corrected most of the strangenesses. There's a few strangenesses, but not enough to really worry. I mean, if you wanted to use this, and it's pretty hard to find a seam. Usually you can find a seam, but there's another seam here. See this one here? And I think that's done the same thing. So we can rerun that one. So you can go back to your crops and have a look and see where the problem is. Just there. We'll rerun that one. Okay, it didn't fix it. I'm not quite sure what's causing that. We'll rerun this one. It will be one image or the other. There we are. That was the fix. I think that might have occurred. I just noticed I got a number wrong. But it will be always one of the two. So as you see, it's now perfect. And so quite often when I'm making these videos, the things that can go wrong don't go wrong. So this time's been rather good because it's gone wrong exactly where you expected. I think I can see why it went wrong, actually. Now I look. I think I got one of my... there we go. That should be 64. So all the rest are 64 and that one was 48. There you go. But there you go. So that makes the next panorama. So the one other thing we might want to do, and I chose quite a difficult image, by the way, my first image, for this very reason, in that if we go back to this, let's go back to the original image right over here. There it is. I chose a difficult image. You see, this image has no very clear horizon. So these are the sort of images that are going to give you grief. So which is why I use that particular image. So what we'll do another image. Let's do that one. Right, this has more of an obvious horizon. So I would think that it won't throw up the problems we saw on that. So what we do, we turn this group to never, and we zoom in so you can see that coming. As I said before, you have to watch this first image. Now, you see how this has worked. You see, we got a horizon running all the way across. So I know this will be a lot easier, but I did it with a sort of worst case scenario. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make that active, and we turn off the crops here to never, right click, change to never, and then the flow will stop here, and we can make adjustments and move on. So we'll run that. There's one point I suppose I should mention, is that very occasionally one of these images will come out very blurry, and what you have to do is to mess with this image sharpen. You don't have to mess with it much, 5 or 6, but that can make all the difference. You can go from one to the other. I actually haven't had it do that yet. So let's have a look at what it's put together. I can already see there's a couple of problems maybe. This should be generally less problematical. As you see, the horizon runs all the way across, and it looks a bit fabulous, doesn't it? Look at that. That's almost good enough before the refine. You see there's a few seams, see the seams here, but the next refine goes over those seams, so they get less, so the seam gets narrower. So that brings me to the bit I've missed out. Panoramas often lack a focal point. So what you can do here is decide where you want your focal point. So we want we're going to put a figure in there. Why do I make myself life so difficult? So if we find that section, I think we want the figure about there. So about here on this one. So this will put in a figure. So I color coded them. So we want to put it into this one here, which is on the yellow one. No, it's on the green one, sorry. I can't see. Oh, that's funny. That's not yellow. It's on the green. So what you do is you just connect it up like this. So this one goes to here. So the green is being diverted through this group. And so when you do it straight across, nothing will happen, but now it's being diverted in. And what we do, we turn this off here, and we also turn the group we're changing to never as well, because we don't want it to run every change we do here. And what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to put a figure in. So I don't know, maybe we'll go cut out. So let's put a warrior in. Let's put a girl with a gun. Or a boy with a gun. Do you want a boy with a gun or a girl with a gun? I don't know. We'll put this monstrous robot in. You do have to have a bit of a watch as to where the light may be. But I'm using PNGs that already have a mask. If you want to put in a segmenter here, you can. That's pretty simple to do. So we can run that quickly through, see how it works. So there's our figure. I think we'll move him a bit right. So we can move him around with this. So to move him to the right, because we don't want him in the masked overlap, because that will definitely cause problems. Now, something you need to know about figures. The head will be on the horizon. So you can either make him smaller, and what we'll do, I've got it on resize at the moment, but we'll change it to rescale. And yeah, he's better size there. And we can move him down on the Y. They always come in top left. So we can have his head a little bit above the horizon. And I think he wants to go a bit more to the right. Now, I've got alien in the prompts, which will probably do. But you will have to put some indication of someone being around in the... Okay, so what we can do now is just run just that section there. Turn that to always and run it. Let me see if it puts the figure in. Sometimes it turns it into a castle. There we go. So there's our figure. I think we need to take the feet down it's going to try and make his feet on the border. So we'll turn that off again quickly, and we'll make him bigger. So make him bigger with the rescale. So he's bigger there, bit too bigger, bit too bigger. We'll go down to 110. If you want to change, if you set the to size, or see these can be set to size or scale. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. I don't think it can. Well, it can obviously, but I don't think it will. Because I've got alien in the prompt, it will put a figure in, but if you don't have any indication of a person, it can well make that into another building. Okay, that's pretty good. In fact, that's very good. Goodness me. Not sure I like the aerials, but there you go. We can live with that. We can live with them, I think. Should we try another seed? I'm always an optimist. And you see, it's got the lighting right. Everything is very hunky dory. We're on denoise 65, so you're let's have a look what that looks like in here. So we turn this on. Yeah, I think that's okay. As you see, it's all lit to fit in with the scene. And the problem with panoramas is that if they don't have a focal point, they look a bit rubbish, really, don't they? So turn that always, and let's see if it all goes wrong. We have a possible problem here in that our robot's shoulder is on a seam. He might have to be moved. That's a real test of the numbers, that is. We'll see. There we go, no sign of a seam. They have quite big overlaps, these, but that is to cover the possible joins on the previous section. And that all makes pretty much sense. Let's zoom in, try to spot the seam. Well, you look pretty good. We know there's a seam through his shoulder. I can't see it then. So there you go, fun and games. So basically any image you put in, a panorama will pop out the other end. So here's some examples. As you can see, they all work pretty well and have decent quality. You could upscale them again and make them absolutely enormous, even up to massive print size, I'm sure. So anyway, I hope that was all interesting and useful. And thank you very much for your attention. That's it. Thank you.